with us tonight?
I don't know, Robbie.
Matt Cohen.
What?
You know who else is singing with us tonight?
I don't.
Jensen Apple.
Honestly, to be honest, not a fan.
Well, if you guys know who that guy is, maybe you should come tonight.
Yeah, it's great. And while you're doing that, and you're pondering your Saturday night plans, pick yourself up and split the seams and think about my trousers. And how I have to send them to the seamstress to get sewn back up on me so I don't flash the crowd. I'm gonna have duct tape on my butt. Yeah, little duct tape. Running from the northern hemisphere to the southern hemisphere, duct tape.
On my butt.
On my butt.
Also the band's gonna go play a couple songs in the merch room, the vendors room, as you call it. Yeah, we're gonna play a couple songs right now.
Oh man, you gonna do some merch room music?
A little merch room.
Kind of an acoustic vibe?
Yeah.
This has kind of got an acoustic vibe.
It does, yeah.
But it seems has a little bit of acoustic thing going on.
Yeah. But if we don't go now, then we're not gonna have time to play a couple songs.
Alright, well then get your booties, your unduct tape booties over to the merch room and listen to the band and the music. Now, as I back awkwardly on the stage, quick reminder, now is the time for you to overspend on posters that are too big for your home. That's right. The auction is coming up. So go here, Robbie, or bid up some stuff. We'll see you in a bit. I don't know if you noticed. Full extension. What happened? Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for the boys of Loud and Swing. That's right. They're loud and swing. They're loud and swing. Ladies and gentlemen, those of you who missed him, I know you've seen him already, but it's my pleasure to reintroduce you. Mr. Spade Jr.'s here.
Spade, first name Spade, last name Junior.
That's right. That's nicknamed Richard because it just had a ring to it. How's everybody doing? Everybody enjoying it? How was karaoke?
Yeah, that was a karaoke report.
Yeah, give us a karaoke. This just in. How was karaoke? Karaoke was fun. Yeah, I was by myself. I don't know if that ever has happened, right?
Really?
Yeah, I said no other guests. Nobody else. No, I brought the girls and started, and then I went through pictures, and then I insisted that they leave. I wanted to just be with you guys alone, as inappropriate as that sounds. And we did it. We did it an hour, and we sang a bunch of shit and sweat a lot, and you know.
I'm getting better.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. How's it going?
Your seat.
Hey,
No, but I'm trying not to bump.
I'm proud of you. Proud of you. Proud of you, Rich? I'm very proud. Well, thanks for saying so on your own. I didn't think you could do it after 10 years of doing it, but you know, I was a bit nervous walking into it, didn't know what to expect, but we got through it. Yeah, that's awesome. We sang our hearts out. I only didn't know one song. What song was that? I don't know.
You walked right into that one.
Should we take some questions? Well, should we dive in? Let's do it. Young lady. Hi there. That's real quiet. Yeah. Let's start again. Yeah, 3 of us.
Hello?
Hi, there we go.
Hi, I'm Carol of Changing Channels. I have a question for Rich.
Okay.
I'm a big Lucy fan in addition to Supernatural fan, so I'm wondering what the differences and the similarities are in directing Supernatural and Lucifer.
Well, in full disclosure, I've been prepping Lucifer for the last 2 weeks, and we started shooting yesterday, so I've directed the actors for a day. So they don't quite have the same amount of experience with that cast as I do with with the good people of Supernatural. But I will say this, obviously we have, this show, Supernatural, survives a lot, you know, all the conversations anybody has about storylines and arcs and the sort of journey that the characters have taken on Supernatural are all true. But the fact of the matter is, all crap aside, that show is on the air because Jared and Jensen are phenomenal actors who still give a crap and still work their ass off to tell those stories. And they're joined by phenomenal actors like Misha Collins, like Mark Pellegrino, like Ruth Connell, who come in and hit home runs as well. But you know, those two guys are the pointy end of the bayonet and are not only good human beings who care about their coworkers and the people who help make the show and each other, but they care about how you perceive the show. They work hard at doing their jobs well, and they create a fun environment in which that work can take place. So, to that end, that's exactly the same thing Tom Ellis does. The experience I've had on Lucifer, both in prep and in the day shooting, he has there's an amazing crew that makes that show. Amazing writers, amazing showrunners behind that show. And when it comes to actually executing it on screen, Tom Ellis is the kind of leader you want to have as number one on your call sheet because he brings a passion and a love to the project and a passion and love for the people he works alongside. So he's a good man who does great work, much like Jared and Jensen and Misha. So so far it's been a very parallel universe, and that makes it awesome. Thank you so much. And a great guy.
I never thought about it. Of course, it's the same thing as Jensen and Jared. It's like,
Tom.
I said it yesterday morning, I think, that it filters down. That's why everyone that does, the actors that do these conventions are all decent people. I really do feel like, even though they're not casting the show, there's an energy there
Absolutely.
that those guys have.
Well, I just, again, worked with Tom all day yesterday because he was in every scene.
Has to be there.
You know, he had a hell of a week before shooting 4 days before I got there. So they were already working their faces off, and I showed up on Friday all like, hey everybody, let's make a show. And like, we've been making a show, dude. But he, 3 times, he pulled me aside, he's like, I'm so glad to have you here. And I kept thinking, I'm so glad to be here. Like, I think I should be patting your back, not the other way around, but that just speaks to his character and how welcoming and kind he is as a guy.
That's like what everybody should bring to every project, right? As an actor and a director. Is that not the most refreshing thing? You're as excited as the actor is excited as everybody's excited, so it's exciting.
And you know what? You're not wrong, man. Like, the fact of the matter is, we are blessed, the 3 of us and those of us who are backstage who are here for the convention, and those actors and actresses who aren't here but representing shows that you like, including Supernatural, including Lucifer, blessed to do what we dreamt of doing as children for a job. Something that we looked at and thought, that would be neat, and now we get paid to do it. And as for all the speed bumps that come along with that, for all the struggles that come along with that, for all the near misses and the brutal losses and you know, that are part and parcel of a freelance arts career, on the days when you're on a set and there's a crew and there's a camera and there's a story to be told, to be a part of that moment, to get to do the thing you dreamt of doing is a blessing. And those who understand it and get to be the helmsmen of their own ships and run their own shows and be Jared's and Jensen's and Misha's and Tom Ellis's and Lauren German's, to be those people who get to do that and appreciate it, they've got their head screwed on right, they got the attitude right, and it makes the process what it should be, which is fun and rewarding. So
it's a passion, right? I mean, it's the passion by all parties involved, and the passion then provides the access to get past the road bumps, right? The road bumps as an actor and director. The passion gives you the faith, and then it gives you the patience, right?
Correct.
That's exactly how it works. So,
anyway, thank you for the question.
Love what you do.
Hi, my name's Morgan.
Hi, Morgan.
I was just wondering, because Scooby Natural was so popular, if you could do a crossover with any other TV show or cartoon, what would you do and why?
Well, cartoon, let's just go with cartoon. Let's stick with the cartoon thing. I would love to see Jared and Jensen and Misha team up with Sebastian the Crab to fight underwater crime. Something's happened with Poseidon, or whatever, you know, if you go down that road, and they got to bring in Sebastian the Crab.
And they all sing a song together.
Yes.
It goes like this.
The seaweed is always green now. You dream about it going up there, but that didn't become history. So forget the world around you, right here on the convention floor. The wonderful things around you. What more did you learn
Gosh, who would I like to see them in what cartoon? Would I like? I think it'd be fun to have them in The Simpsons.
Yeah.
It would be fun just to see them in that Simpsons drawing.
Yeah, with the big upper lip.
Yeah. That'd be really fun.
I think we gotta go either American Dad or Family Guy.
Dude! That's so not where I thought you were going to go.
Well,
Family Guy.
South
Then they
Park?
can come to Rhode Island.
perhaps.
How about the only animated movie you always talk about 24/7? I mean, all the time, every day.
We were talking animated television. You went on a tangent and chose a movie, right? I'm trying to stay within the spectrum of the
In all
question.
fairness, I did choose a movie.
Animated show? Oh, animated show.
Hey, but I'm interested in the world where Sebastian's actually fighting
That's
crime.
good, that's good. But okay, we're going TV show, then I got one.
Okay.
I think that they should have to team up with Pinky and the Brain.
I don't know that one.
Try and take over the world with 17. Let's go, Pinky. You know, that guy. Wait, who's Pinky? Which one? Who's give me a Pinky? Well, the Brain is obviously the Brain, and Pinky's the other one. For one reason, Pinky has a British accent. I'm not sure why, but... What are we doing today, Brian? Same thing we do every day, Pinky. Try and take over the world.
Like, the Brain has to be played by Misha. It's just his exact. I just want to force Jensen.
All right, so what's your TV show? So now I've gotten us back on track with the show.
So, what do you want to what movie? Because I already did see
No, he did. He said Family Guy.
You said two. You did not pick one.
As a Family Guy or American Dad, I could go either way. I want to go towards Family Guy because I just think that Stewie could be played by somebody really funny for the show.
Fine.
Isn't
My
that Mark
microphone
Shepard?
that I've been using all
South
weekend
Park.
smells like corn nuts.
Well,
I think it's because I've been eating a
like
lot.
I say, that upper lip you've been using all weekend smells like corn nuts. You've been shelling. Robbie was backstage, and we're like, all right, it's time to go to stage. Robbie, and we turned, and he was bent down with his face buried in the corn nuts. There was a weird noise. What are we doing?
And the sad thing is, like, I didn't realize what I was doing as I'm just like shoveling them into my mouth. And he goes, "You want some corn nuts, Bobby? Jesus!"
I was like, put on like rubber gloves and just destroyed the ball. It was like,
Even Liz is so sweet. She has little. I think it's for her. I always say it's for us. That's actually for her. She has little bowls of treats, just little snacks to give her through the day. And so I'm always picking at them. And Liz was right about when you were like, "Jesus, Bobby, with the corn nuts." And very behind you was Liz, sort of like, I wanted those. They're my favorite. She's kind of like, she sadly crossed behind me, like, "Aw."
later she could broom some out of your mustache. I'm kidding.
Anyway, sorry, I interrupted you because my microphone's back.
So I think we've done this one. Thank you.
All
right, you.
Hey guys.
Hi.
My name's Rihanna, and my question is maybe for Richard. Oh, sorry. I was wondering, like, how you felt that they brought Gabriel back and then killed him all so quickly, and for the others, like Matt and Rob, how do you guys feel about your characters coming back to the show?
I'll make quick work of that one. It was great. I never expected the character to come back, so getting the opportunity to dust off those chops and play Gabriel again was a surprise, complete surprise. And so people say, "Oh, they brought him back, but they killed him so fast." I did more episodes in season 13 than I've done in the previous 12 combined. So not a lot to complain about, you know. It was kind of a win. The positive was I got to play Loki and Gabriel and direct it, so I got to do a fight that was me versus me, directed by me. Direct myself to kick my own ass, if you will. Bucket list. Yeah, bucket list.
Right, there has to be like 20 dudes working in primetime and or film that say, "I directed a fight sequence, me versus me, directed by me."
Yeah, like
I would like to see the list.
It's not a long list, probably.
Fandom, I'll expect that on my Twitter later.
That was a positive. The negative was I get killed by another brother. I mean, I thought I had gotten a passing of a Lucifer, and then now I got Michael kill me. It's like, wow, I should just skip Thanksgiving. I just did not Next time I say, no guys, I got it. This time I'm stepping up, somebody's going to grab me by the collar and yank me through the rift. I mean, it's not going to go well.
You got a bad home life.
And that's the other thing, is like, I'm there to kill, like, I'm like, here, I'll buy time. I'll give you time to go to the rift. Well, what the fucking bow legs and hairdo? Stand there and watch. So, I'm over there like going, I'm eating up the clock. I'm like, all right, go! Guys, move it! Through the rift! And meanwhile, they're like, no! Look up! And I get killed, I'm like, God, son of a bitch, you're still here! So, it did no good. No good. It was all for naught. Boys, what would you feel about your character go back? Mad? Happy?
It's always good to go, you know, you said it, we never expect to go back, we get to go back, it's a gift, it's awesome, it's a pleasant place to be, you just feel lucky to be on that set. That's it, man.
Yeah, it was super fun for me too. It was great to be able to play out that storyline, and you know, those are some of my favorite episodes that I ever shot up there. Don't Call Me Shirley is one of my favorite episodes that I've been able to do, and yeah, I hope I get to go back again. God willing, the three of us will come back together.
You willing?
Yeah. Well, and we're all
The two of us, God and the one Sunny likes.
I felt that, like your dad just now. Like I want Thanksgiving to be like it used to be.
Wasn't it always
It's hard to hear that you don't want to come back.
Wasn't it always bad? I mean, one of your kids is Lucifer.
It's never been good. It's never been good.
I feel like there's a great dream sequence Jensen wakes up from, because he's in bed. I just figured I could plant that seed. And then he like wakes up, this had the weirdest dream. God.
Has he had a tracheotomy at this point?
You know he talks like the Batman, stop it. He wakes up and he's like, I just had the weirdest dream, God, Michael and Gabriel. And then he tells you the story. And the whole episode's a flashback of the three of us. Thanks to our writers.
Thank you for your question.
Thank you so much. Hi. So I was wondering if you could play a well-known figure that is passed in a movie about their life, who would you play and why?
If I could play what?
A well-known figure who's not with us anymore, in a biopic about that person, who would it be?
Heath Ledger. Oh, I know.
Heath Ledger for that. Not gonna win.
I'm in fact Brian Jones. Infatuated with Brian Jones. I would love to play Brian Jones. Brian Jones is the man who started the Rolling Stones, for those who know. The blonde guy who sort of helped create the sound and then died in 1969. But and he also was famous for introducing Hendrix at Woodstock.
That's right.
Yeah. Brian Jones.
Gosh, I feel a lot of pressure all of a sudden. Real good answers, really good answers. So we're not just like going with people we look like or anything.
No, anything.
Well, so many people. When I was
You want to kill time for you? What do you think of it?
no, when I was in college, my senior thesis, we took a class where we had to write a one-person show about a person who's living or dead, but it had to be like 90% their actual words. And I thought, well, James Dean died when he was 24. I would love to explore that dude and see what he said. So and I found all this great stuff, and I ended up putting this one-man show together about James Dean. And they made movies about James Dean, so it's not necessarily realistic, but I'm going to go with James Dean. Are you saying old to play 24? But
talking about real music, we think of it. Just read an article about, I know your buddies with Peter Dinklage, who's phenomenal, and he's got that movie about Hervé Villechaize, that he plays on Dinner with Hervé, which I read the article about. This is a project he's had in development for 20 years.
Yeah, when we did Threshold together, they were talking about that project.
That's crazy. Yeah. Well, I can't wait to see that movie.
And he was really trepidatious about doing it because, it's a big thing to do, and and he felt a certain responsibility as a dwarf to sort of. You know what I mean? He took it very seriously, and so he was the one that was kind of saying, like, not yet, it's not time, let's just wait. And so yeah, I'm excited to see it.
That's awesome.
He's such a terrific guy.
Thank you for your question.
Thank you.
Hi. Hey.
What were your favorite and least favorite parts about playing each of your characters on the show?
I don't know if I had a least favorite. I would be hard pressed to find a negative. It was great. It was
the most negative thing about it is that we're not doing it right now.
Yeah. See, the worst part is like every time I have to disappear. and not come back. I just keep disappearing.
Well, yeah.
I held my sister's hand. See you later. Nice to stick around.
Yeah, that's the not being there currently is the worst part, but everything else but actually playing the role, I thoroughly enjoyed.
I'm going to go with singing fairly well. That was my favorite thing to do.
I would either say, I guess I'll go on the scene, I'll go on the Loki versus Gabriel fight. That'd be probably my favorite thing. Matthew?
And mine has to be the baby scene. It just was such a gift to be there and to be directed by Tom Wright and to sit in a car with Jared farting for 7 pages. Nothing makes you a better person than that.
By the way, look at this young Matt Cohen in this picture.
Yeah, there he is. Look at this young John.
Cohen.
The first time his comb-over ever made an appearance.
Look at that neck, by the way.
By the way, when you get the
I was beefy and young then, and now I'm old and disintegrating.
when you get the tiny little action figures, the Lego action figures, you'll notice that the Michael Young John hair and the Jody Mills hair just swap right off each other.
And true story, hold on, true story that happened.
You're making your Lego figures.
Hey, oh, I know what it is.
That's right.
This is a two-parter. Yeah, this is his hair.
The scene where me and Mary are in the house, and we open the door, and boom, there's Jensen and Jared. I think it's in season 5. In rehearsal, the first thing Jensen ever said to me was, got some quads on you.
What are quads?
That's what he said to me.
What are they?
These.
Oh, cool. I was like, what are quads?
He literally opens the door like in the first rehearsal, and it was like, and I'm like, who are these guys? And he's like, some quads on you, kid. Anyways, my line. Strong arm.
He's not wrong.
Where were we? Over here. Oh, thank you for your question. Yo.
Hi, I was just wondering what your favorite books are.
Favorite book, Richie?
Let's see. I wish I read more than I do. I'm going to say that right now. I'm one of those guys who has a book with me at all times, and then 4 years later I read it.
I did the same thing. I brought 2 books this trip. And when I bring 1 book, I never find time to read it. I brought 2.
But I will say, I love Malcolm Gladwell books. I've read 5 or 6 of his books. Big fan of his. My book I read most recently was Go Set a Watchman, which is the Harper Lee sequel to Kill a Mockingbird.
Oh, yeah.
Which was released. And which is fascinating. Go Set a Watchman is phenomenal.
Is it?
Oh my gosh, it touches on, it's so ahead of its time. It's basically the scout character comes back after being an adult, now she's in her 20s living in New York, and she comes back to her hometown to help her father out who's aging, and she's confronting the racism in her small town. And it's stunningly progressive for its time.
When was it written?
It was written not that long after Kill a Mockingbird, but my understanding, what I heard at the time when the book came out, is that her sister had read it and said, you can't release this. And so it went into a vault and stayed there until she passed away. Until the sister passed away. And then it came out that she had this manuscript sitting around.
Wow.
It's fascinating. So that was one. And then I'm a Neil Gaiman fan, which is of course I know. But interestingly, this is how I became a Neil Gaiman fan. Years ago, when conventions first started, a young lady asked me a question at a panel that I was doing by myself, something about Anansi Boys and the Trickster. Draw some parallel between that book and the character I was playing. And I did not know the book, and I did not know the author. And she said, "Oh, that's a shame." And she, the next day, came to an autograph session or whatever, and brought me American Gods and Anansi Boys as a book, which was lovely. And I was thinking, oh, okay, like I just said, I don't read enough. Sadly, I'll probably never get to these. That's a bummer, because I appreciate the gesture. That was before we did Saturday Night Special, before we all did these nocturnal events that you had us bonding and working together, and we would have breaks and go back to our room. So at one point during that convention, I went back to my room to kill a couple hours, and I thought, well, I'll just, read the foreword of this book. And a week later, I read American Gods, and the next week I read Anansi Boys, and I'm like, holy crap, turns out this guy's good. So I got introduced to Neil Gaiman in a very, I think, interesting way, just by having somebody hand me the book.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm a big Michael Chabon fan. I say Chabon, Chabon. He wrote Wonder Boys, Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay, and his first book is called Mysteries of Pittsburgh. It's really terrific. Yeah, I highly recommend him.
I'm a little different with the reading. I have a 3.5-year-old, so I only read children's books. That's all I have time for. And if I'm going to read a book, I have to read with him. Therefore, there's a tie between two. That would be The Gruffalo and Stickman. If you haven't read either, don't worry. Netflix has a show for each one. Check it out. They're both fantastic. Seriously, the animation, the story, the lesson. The Gruffalo and Stickman.
I got both those in heavy rotation.
Oh my goodness, they're so good. They're it's heartbreaking and beautiful all at the same.
You know what's another good kid's book? I think I'm getting the name right. Beagle. It's about an imaginary friend looking for an owner. It's really sweet. It's this really cute story. This imaginary friend trying to find the right kid, and it's really, 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 really sweet. It was a conversation, actually, Jenny Klein and I had a conversation about that book when I was making Just My Imagination because of the imaginary friend element, but it's worth bringing home to Macklin. It's great.
When my kids were around, well, your kids' ages, the younger ones, I read all of the books by, what's his name?
Dr.
Shel Silverstein.
No, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and
Roald Dahl.
Yeah, James and the Giant Peach.
Wow, those are good.
The Witches, like there's so many.
I haven't got there yet. I'm like knocking on that door.
I read it to them, and it's fun. Writing is so fun to read.
Dude, kids' books are something else. I mean, they're just some great ones.
Well, Roald Dahl is like, it's for adults too. You know, there's some real dark stuff in it. It kind of goes past them, and you're like, and then wow, wait, really? He ate him.
I had that experience, and I know that this guy is an American icon, but I decided I was going to read the boys, when they were young, I was going to read them Huck Finn. I got about 3 pages into Huck Finn, and I realized I had to lose Huck Finn. I was like, I can't find Huck Finn. Not that the book's not great, but you got to have a few years on you.
Yeah, it's just language.
Certainly, well, because there's there's some slang in there that's completely inappropriate,
totally,
and hard to explain. And so I just got right out of that one.
Now you're reading War and Peace. How's that going?
Leon Uris, just light reading. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hello. So when I asked a question in Seattle, I got a response that will scar me for life. So my question is for Rob.
Smart.
I was just curious if there's like any time you pick up a guitar, if there's like a chord that you'll like immediately go to, if you have one that like sounds the best to you, something that's like your favorite.
You know, for the longest time, it's not necessarily even my favorite or my favorite fingering or anything, but I have like OCD fingering on the guitar. Guys, wow.
What did you say? I missed it. What did you say? I didn't hear it.
He's got one left.
Fingering.
The fingering, is that horror movie?
Oh my god.
I said
it's truly
I said it's not my favorite.
Conjuring, sorry.
I said it's not even my favorite fingering or anything. Okay.
Grow up. I'm so good.
I see what we're doing now. Anyway, I had an OCD thing. It's just weird because normally I say that kind of thing on purpose. But I didn't. My favorite chord to play before I put the guitar down was the E major chord. So it was like an OCD thing. I'd be like, fool around with the guitar, and then right before I set it down, I had to go, I had to do the E major chord. And then I'd set it down. So I'm going to go with E major chord just because that's my go-to. This is my go-to, like, is it in tune? Yep, it's in tune. E major.
There you go. Thank you. Go.
Hello. What's your most irrational pet peeve that people annoy you with?
Rational pet peeves?
Rich.
Well, you could say I'm rational, but sure.
It's irrational that you're my pet peeve.
Oh.
That's what's irrational. Hey, it's not you, it's me, buddy.
Okay.
No, let's see, what is an irrational pet peeve? Oh, I got a weird thing, Matt, maybe you'll understand this. If I'm like telling a story or a joke that ends in a laugh, and before I get to the laugh part of my story, somewhere else in the room, someone else starts laughing about something different, and it just sours my laugh. I can't get as big of a laugh because someone just took my laugh away in another part of the room. It's like they're yucking my yum. You know what I mean? So it's a little bit like, so, and then, come on guys, I'm telling a funny story. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Well, it is irrational pet peeve, so that falls into the irrational category.
I don't understand. It's my fault. That's how I feel.
I feel like all my pet peeves are rational, because that's irrational in itself.
What's a pet peeve? Give me a pet peeve.
I mean, I have a real big problem with people that talk over and then fight for position during the talk over, right? So it's like, you're saying something and then the other person wants so badly to be heard in their thought that they start talking, but then so I'm my pet peeve, you get what I'm saying? Like, so like, you're saying something and then I'm like, but I want to tell you this, and then you're like, no, but I'm gonna, like, you're gonna keep on telling your thing, and I'm just gonna keep on going until you stop talking and everybody can hear me!
It's so funny.
I'm my pet peeve.
It's so you're like, I hate it when I do this.
Yeah, my wife wants to leave me every time we have a conversation. She's like, go ahead. Finish. I'm like, I don't want to anymore. And then she's like, all I was saying was I was making vegetable lasagna. I was like, that's the thing, I love vegetables, and I like organic, and like I can't control myself, and that's my pet peeve, is myself. Honestly, truly, I work on it every day.
You'd be great.
All the time. I'm always working on it. It's consistent, nonstop. I'm not trying to be funny about it. You just listen for a second and let me talk.
Richard, what about you?
Tangled phone cords.
That's irrational.
Drives me nuts, man. I have been like, you go to the sign into the doctor's office, like, yeah, I'm here for a doctor. Excuse me a second. Lean over there and unplug their cord and tangle it and plug it again.
So you're talking about landlines.
The landline. Luckily, technology is phasing out my pet peeve, but in office situations, there's still those little curly phone cords, and I don't like business cards that are in a disarray, and I don't like phone cords that are tangled up.
What about the cord that's holding the pen that brought you to?
I don't even know why they do that. Like, why are you doing that? Because you don't trust me? You don't want your stupid pen? Yeah. You know, just for that? I'm taking your stupid pen. That didn't really bug me. It's the phone cord.
You know, the weight of the metal cord pulls the damn pen off the counter every time you put it down. You know, that's one of my pet peeves also. I just discovered it right this second.
Now you made us all answer. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. You.
Hi. I'm a really big fan. I love you all. My question's for Rob. I have two. If God could ever meet Jack, what would he think of him?
Oh man, I'm really excited to meet Jack. He's my grandson. So I think it'd be just adorable. We could have a whole day together, go fishing, play baseball catch. I think Jack has a lot of potential. I like that kid. He's a lot better than his father. Not much. But yeah, I just love him. And look at him, he's adorable.
He is.
Yeah.
And my second question is, this is for my friend because she couldn't make it.
Just kidding.
Sorry. I can't think of it now.
Oh. You can remember it?
I got shy.
Okay. You can't remember it?
While she's thinking of her question, let's remember the time that we came out a couple cities ago, and Robbie did his opening, and he's like, oh, so excited to be here, got a great list of people. Big Al Calvert's in the house. Alan Calvert was not in the house. Alan Calvert was not on the schedule that weekend. Not coming to the weekend.
That was
like,
Jersey.
Oh, you really want to meet your grandson? You're conjuring him. And
Yeah.
there he is.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I didn't even say, like, we got, Alex Calvert will be here this weekend. I was like, he's in the house.
No, you like,
I just saw him.
Yeah, he was. Alan Calvert was waiting backstage for his cue.
Al Cal, everybody.
And there was no Al. And And you were shocked, and I was shocked at people who were streaming the autograph ticket line to go buy Alcal. They were shocked. There was no Alcal. That would not a thing.
We do a lot of cities.
We do a lot of cities.
At least I didn't say like, hello Cleveland.
Hello city. Did you say hello Cleveland to Cleveland?
I did.
Okay. She stormed out. All right, well,
it was a good time. Tell your friends hello.
Yeah.
Hi. So I just want to say first, Matt, I love your hair, since you've told me that many times.
Thank you.
And
You're my hair spirit animal.
Thank you. And I want to know, what are some of your guys' favorite songs to dance to and your favorite dance moves?
Favorite songs to dance to and
favorite dance moves, favorite songs to dance to.
Robbie was just telling me all about his favorite moves.
I can do the Running Man. That's my one move.
Guys, let's do what we do well. We all, I'm proud to say, we all are really good at the floss. We're really good at the floss. So we would like to right now, may we? Should we line up? All right.
Now,
so just count it down.
Do you know what it is, the actual floss? Do you know we'll talk about it afterwards.
Right.
Okay, so you guys make a
the floss
or something?
Ready? Just give me, so you guys give us a clap beat so we can not do it. 1, 2, 3,
Rich does it better than me.
The thing is this, I'm like, oh, it's floss, like that other thing they try to teach us, the stank check,
Yeah.
I was online and I was like, why? Somebody was teaching a comedian what the floss was, right? And the person was like, oh, like we're doing what I do. So like, and the guy goes, no, it's literally like you have a piece of floss. But from sideways, like that is where the dance came from. So the idea is that you're pulling floss through the area. I'll stay off the internet, I think.
Yeah.
I just gotta wonder how you got food stuck up in there to start with. That's for you and your dentist and your proctologist. That little confab. Thank you for your question.
Come on, Matt, we didn't answer the question.
We did the floss.
I don't know, you got moves you can do.
I really don't. Rich, he forced me for about 7 years to do this thing called the jerk.
Oh yeah,
it's like the reverse Running Man.
Oh man.
And it all stems from Aldous Hodge, if you know him. I don't know what show he's on now. He's doing something great, but he one day early on in the convention circuit had somebody go up to my hotel room, get me at like 9 o'clock in the morning, bring me downstairs 3 hours before I was supposed to be there to make me learn the jerk with him on stage. He felt like that was important, and then Rich ran with that.
Man, I tell you, I forgot about that. There were a lot of years where karaoke was not as packed and as exciting as it is now, where we were sweating to keep it interesting, and so every song, during every solo,
every time,
Matt had to jerk it on stage. Yeah. You just jerk it, Matt! And Matt was doing the jerk. It'd be like 16 bars of Matt jerking it, and then back to somebody singing.
And I didn't know you actually didn't love doing it. So when I started doing karaoke with you guys, I was like, yeah, all right, and Matt, jerk! And Matt started like giving me these evil looks like...
At 2, Robert?
Yeah, exactly.
I was so happy the day Richard spawned the phrase, Moose Knuckle Corridor, for musical breaks, because that meant I could
the jerk died way before Moose Knuckle Corridor.
Not much.
It faded
we call those the dark years.
And there's years 1 through 9.
Yeah.
Faded out. Faded back into Moose Knuckle Corridor.
Alright, you, right there.
I don't know if my legs are shaky because I'm nervous or because I've been standing so long.
Hard to say. Strong
So
start.
my question is, if the parallel universe is suddenly shifted, it's sort of like a reverse French mistake, and your characters that you normally play were suddenly on that stage, what would their reactions be?
The otter. That's my spirit animal.
No.
Can't do that?
It's not. That's my
So you're saying...
irrational pet peeve, is that answer?
Phone cords.
universe where the characters...
Hold on, I got this. Matt, jerk it up. Come on, for a whole time say I get it out of it. There we go. As I bust my head. Saved by the jerk.
Saved statement is true.
That's a confusing puzzle of a conundrum of a question you answer, young lady. I don't know. I got nothing. Robbie?
So I'm God right now.
Yes.
Well,
let's figure it out.
I mean, I'm God. I can kind of make anything happen, right?
So maybe suddenly there's a puppy and a chicken on stage.
Yeah, sure.
That kind of thing. Sure. You might. There you go. Boom, boom. And then, there you go. That's right. It all works. Thanks for playing along. And then world peace. World peace.
Finally, I've been waiting for it for longer than I've been alive.
Is that world peace? That's so funny.
It's meta world peace. Thank you for your question.
Thank you so much. I love you. World peace. Everybody's singing.
It almost turned into like,
it sounds like the Whoville.
I was about to be like, alrighty then. Jim Carrey's doing really well. Like,
Ace Ventura. Yep. Yep.
Alright, anyways, your question?
You.
This one in particular is for Richard and Rob. Matt, you're perfectly welcome to join in if you like. My best friend and I refer to Richard as Corgi and Rob as Yorkie. And
That makes perfect fucking sense.
And it got me thinking, what dog breed would you pen each member of the cast as, and what would be their pet name?
Well, fuck it, I don't have to say a thing. Robbie always talks about this. Robbie, dog it up. Your dog cast bit.
I'll just give it a go. I would be a mutt in the pound. That would be my dog. I know I wasn't involved in the question. Oh, look, say it by the man.
So maybe Cass would be like, I don't know, Cass be like I can't even any dog breeds right now. Somebody's a Doberman picture. Maybe Sam's a Doberman picture. I don't know. That's a bad one.
Nailed it.
I feel like Jensen's got to be a bulldog. No
Nailed it. Yeah. And obviously, Jared's a Great Dane. So there's the rest.
There you go.
Yeah.
We got to take we're going to end one more question before the band starts playing music. You here. Hi. I know it's not for me. I'm just saying hi. That's all.
Never again.
What did I do?
I'm
not sure.
SDL is an Australian Kelpie.
There you go.
Hi.
Hi. Hello, con husband who doesn't remember me. Hi, Rob. My question is for you.
Great, because you know me. Great answers.
My question is, what the actual fuck is God doing? Because the world's coming apart at the seams. It's like, your carrots are in your peas. What is he doing? Like, is he out there, like, drinking Mai Tais with his sister, or what? Like, what's going on?
You're not wrong. He did have a few Mai Tais with his sister. They had a great beach vacation. But that's over. He's back in the office. He's got a long list of things. So I need to ask you to be patient. It's a long list. A lot of people have a lot of needs. He's got serious family issues. So, just hang tight. And I'm with you, man. He needs to come back and straighten some shit out.
I have a follow-up question to that.
Very good.
Because it's an alternate universe, we have, the alternate versions of everybody. Is there another God in the alternate universe?
I mean, if you want Rob's opinion, no, it's all my story, man.
But if you want Matt's opinion, yeah, there's another God. Here I am. Over there.
Thank you.
Well done, Robbie.
Thank you. Well done. It's good to have you back.
And we really nailed these answers today, guys.
Are you in line to ask the question? Are you right there, woman standing there? Are you? Well, just ask it. There's no break after this. Just ask the question. This last person standing here. Let's do it. Why not? Right?
Okay. Thank you, then. My question is, what's the last song on your phone that you listen to?
Oh, good last one.
Last song on my phone that I listen to. I can tell you, because it was my alarm this morning to wake up. It's Chris Stapleton's Midnight Train to Memphis. I just love, I love that whole album. Robbie?
I guess my last song I listened to was, I played with these guys, last I was playing this Radiohead song called You and Whose Army. A Radiohead song called You and Whose Army.
Nice. And mine was Renegade by Jay-Z. That was
so perfect. And the next song we're going to listen to is this one right now. Ladies and gentlemen, let's run back.